We are reflecting today. This is Can We Chat?
This podcast has been made possible by our sponsor, Carlson Mechanical, where your imagination comes to reality.
What's up? My name is Anthony Vega from the Speed King shooting team, helping you elevate your shooting skills safely and accurately. This channel will help you clarify IDPA rules, shooting techniques, and inform you of the newest accessories and what's going on in the shooting community. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We're mixing things up today with my special guest and team captain, Paul G.
Good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How are you doing?
That was awesome, man.
Thank you. First try, a little nerves, trying to live up to your expectations, not just in the shooting community, but now here.
I appreciate that. But, it's just I can't be doing everything.
Well, but you're so good at it. Everybody looks up to you. I mean, how could you not?
I appreciate that. That's very nice of you.
So, changing things up today a little bit, how do you feel about this?
I don't know. Give people a little bit of variety, see what they say. I know we're going to get killed on the comments, but...
Hey, you know what? You either get killed or, some people just, love to razz you a little bit, ruffle your feathers.
A little bit. So, I got some interesting news.
Yeah, what do you got?
So, 5/27 is the date. We got to mark that date.
We're going to mark the date on the calendar.
Uh-huh.
And... enter.
Okay.
What have we got?
Norco Armory.
Okay.
David Burwell from Norco Armory just found my P365.
Really?
Yeah.
So we already got a down payment. We're going to go fill some paperwork.
Oh, no. It's paid off. Dross is in the process, so I got to wait 10 days. And
so the 10 days
I'll pick it up on the 27th. Ooh. Yeah, absolutely. So...
And then the fun begins, changing over the dark side.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So, but,
so I figured we'd change some things up. There's a lot of questions that I have because some of these things I don't even know. And we've been friends for how long and view these kinds of things. And I would love to hear, some of the antics and some of the things that have gone in your head through the years shooting in this community.
Well, how long have we been shooting together?
Well, when was the Speed Team developed? I know
right.
We had a quick little luncheon.
That's right. So I met Anthony with one of the sponsors that we had, and I sat there and I go with each and every sponsor that we have. I try to make it a point to go out and meet, right? So meet and greet, and that's how you and I met. But it was just from the get-go.
Yeah,
I met you. I'm like, oh man, I really like this guy.
Love it first sight.
Yeah, you really took care of me well at the company, and I really appreciate that. And so that's why I wanted to know a little bit more about you. And so we went to lunch, right?
Yeah. You walked in, the music stopped. It's just tunnel vision.
But that was the first lunch I've ever had that we had so many. What was the drink of choice? That was
the old fashioned.
It was the old fashioned, and they kept on coming. And we were
flowing like water, having a great time.
I just sat there and I went, "Oh, I love this guy. I love this guy." So that's how you and I met. So, but what was that, like three years ago? 4 years
almost
ago?
4 years ago.
Yeah. So
closer to 4, I would say.
So Brandon Pratt, he had this brainchild of a shooting team, not a shooting team that takes, get elite shooters, the top 4 or 5% of the competition, next to the pros and stuff like that, right? And just to just take, and what, as a sponsor, what can you give me type of mentality, right? And he wanted to go away from that, and I just looked at him. I went, what do you mean? There's another way?
Wait, this is how everybody else does. Why the change?
He strongly believed that it was best. It's more like what can we do for you, type of thing, right? And I was shocked. I bought into it.
Whole new concept.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. He goes. There are more common shooters. Working man shooters out there. Guys that are under masters, right? Classification that shoot than masters themselves. right?
Correct.
Well, aside from the Optics now, because I beg to differ.
Yeah, that's a very large class and
It
some
is,
very talented
and growing,
individuals.
right?
Keeps growing.
So that's how we started the speakings. He sat there, goes, why don't we start a shooting team that will come together as a group and deal with and have membership that is of the working class. Everybody from the novice all the way up to the to master class, right? But it seems that most of those guys are now becoming experts and masters, such as yourself, right? So
that's right. I have a great some great helping hands and some support from.
I mean, the first time that we met, we shot, and I was very impressed that how you shot. I was like, wow.
Thank you.
And you just got better, like almost. It was like within like 4 weeks, I believe it was. And I said to him, well, he can actually shoot, but you just didn't shoot a lot.
I just didn't shoot a lot. Like, being that, oh, hey, come shoot with us, come do this. I was like, all right, like, sounds fun. Like something new I haven't tried.
But that's just how you are, though.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
oh, hey, I'm in.
Well, when you have great guys like yourself, just saying, hey, you should do this. Well, you kind of got to listen.
So you and I, we started to hang out a little bit more often, and that just kind of grew into a relationship in itself, right?
Yeah.
But I was really appreciative when I brought up the concept of bug and stuff, and you just took your personality. Hey, okay, let's try this. I'm like, and that was the time where you just said, I'm in. It doesn't matter what happens. Let's just do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst could happen? You suck. You start from scratch, start over, get humbled a little bit, rebuild yourself. I mean, come on.
Right. So, but that's what I love about you. You just go out there, experience, and see what it has. What doesn't work for you, just make the adjustment, right, and just kind of keep on going, right. And I think that's how our team is now, right. So that's exactly what we that's our mantra that we follow, right.
Yeah.
Just go out there, just do it the best you can.
Yeah. Do it for yourself
and do it for yourself. You're
not racing anybody else.
No, you're not getting a car or something.
That's what's nice. And kind of going into this whole Q&A thing, that was actually one of the questions was, who are the speakings and what do we represent? So without even asking, could have been better.
Well, so I mean, to answer that question, the speakings are a bunch of I wouldn't say that they're common because they're now extraordinary, right? They're all going out. Most of them are safety officers. They're volunteering to help out with local matches. I'm trying to go outward to other matches. I'm on my way out to Washington. Joe Bodden actually invited me out there. He actually invited you as well, but it was your fishing season, right?
Yes,
so,
unfortunately.
But
the one trip that I was like, waiting on, and it has to be this match. So
July 26th through the 28th out in Washington. I've been trying to get out to Washington for years, right? And I said I always put that on my schedule. I'm like, this is where I'm going to go.
Just never quite falls into place.
Yeah, so I started in Florida, and then I started working my way back to Georgia and Texas, and I adore those matches, the best matches, the first class all the way, and then I just haven't done the northern, especially the Central Coast or the Western Coast, right? So, but Washington
happens to be on the list.
And I promised myself that was going to be on my list this year. And he sat there and he goes, it would be awesome if you can come and cover the match. And it's a tier 3, and he's trying to push it to a tier 4.
Nice.
So,
with any luck, then hopefully it'll be really soon be pushed to a tier 4.
That's right. Hopefully, we'll get it a little bit more people in there, and they just to let people know about it, right? And so I'm going to be covering that. So if anybody wants to join me, right, that'll be the July 26th through the 28th. I'll be up in Washington.
I wish I was.
Yeah.
So again, sorry, Joe, and I really appreciate it.
But that was our philosophy. Always give back, because we didn't want to be one of those guys that always just takes,
Yeah.
right? So we wanted to give back and try to build a community of shooters, go out there and competitively shoot against each other and make it bigger than we are.
Yeah.
And that's what the Speakings are all about, always giving back, making sure everybody's safe, making sure that everybody gets home after the match.
That's awesome. That's why I love the team.
Oh,
Yeah, which goes into another question, like kind of asking about the team. Being that it's an individual sport, what are the advantages of joining a team or becoming part of the team?
oh my gosh. There's training for one, right? Always being better. Well, you always take me to a whole different level.
Likewise.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, answering kind of on the same aspect is having someone that you could push each other in a positive way.
And that's when we did that,
Yeah.
almost to a part where we were like tackling each other, right? So, so that always helps. You always elevate me to a different level, and I think that kind of. I know that there's a certain individual that was a little upset that you and I smashed him at the Western. Scott, sorry, Scott.
Sorry. I mean, we took tips very well. And
It was really nice of him to take the time to make sure that you and I were squared away, and he went the extra mile, and I really appreciate Scott Meyer. So
Thank you.
thank you. And he introduced a part of the bug division that I didn't even know existed, right?
I knew it was there because I saw it in the rule book, but
Right.
I mean, it's like, who shoots this?
Right,
Never
right.
even seen anybody
Yeah.
shoot one. So
I mean, our previous videos, right? It kind of showed us that we were just like monkeys on a football, right?
oh yeah.
It was so bad, and then I'm getting injured, and you're just laughing at me.
I mean, he was laughing, but it's kind of like, all right, well, I know we're not going to have to amputate, and I know he's going to be back next week. So
It's not serious. He's good. Yeah. So that's how we got through that. But I mean, joining a team, you have full on support. They're all there. Everybody needs a witness, right, of your greatness or your
pitfalls.
And I get a lot of that too. But even with Robert Jones and Kurt Sitzman, they won at the Western last year, right? And I was really proud of them. But I got killed. So.
Well, but you also do a lot of killings.
That's right.
You got to take your licks and give them.
So if there's a team that you are following or very close to, highly suggest you look into it and see if you can get on there.
Make sure it's the right fit for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. There's it's definitely a family, right?
Yeah,
It's
really is.
second family. Absolutely.
So you had mentioned most of the team members are SOs and CSOs. Now, what does it take to be an SO?
So experience for one. There's not a lot of classes going around, but my dear friend Fred Johnson is the state educator for safety officers. So contacting him would probably be the first thing.
step?
Yeah, is you just register with him or send him an email. He'll give you certain dates for a class,
Okay.
and then that's when you start beginning your education. Reading the rule books would be a great start.
Helps.
And there's multiple parts to it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I thought there was like
And interpretations.
let's not even get into that. But there's a lot of parts to it. There's administrative parts to it, so like match directors and stuff like that. CSOs, you always want to look at that, but it's just the basic. So you look at the basic rules, know that you have to take a test from HK headquarters, and then they give you your certification. You work for a certain many matches, and you have to work your way up to tiers.
Okay.
So like tier
So
three,
start off with like a local club match type of deal.
yes,
and then
you
go up.
locals, then tier ones, tier twos, tier threes, and then the fours, and eventually, if you can get to like the nationals, you can do their national match themselves, and that's how you kind of merge into being a CSO as well.
Okay. That's what the follow-up question was. All right, we know that you're a CSO. What does it take to get to that point? Kind of went over that. Right off
So
the bat.
that's a lot of
And
time.
would you recommend it?
CSO? So I asked that question to Fred Johnson, our state coordinator, and he sat there. He goes, "Oh man, it's just especially like at a tier 4 or tier 5, match. There's just so many moving parts, and it's a lot of work. But it's very fulfilling at the end of the day, right? So you get to experience. I recommend that to everybody. They should probably experience it at least once.
At least experience, so that way when they're actually get a little heated with someone, they actually know the repercussions and how the individual feels.
Oh, there's just. It's definitely if you had that type of work work experience, that would definitely come in handy as a law enforcement counselor or something like that in order to de-escalate a lot of the conversations. That always helps out. But, at the end of the day, you got to really think about it. And an SO is just an advocate for the shooter, right? It's not the opposite.
A volunteer.
And he's getting paid, tremendous amount of money.
Of $0 and free 99.
Oh, Fred and I would talk about this all the time. We just sit there and go, why are we doing this? And I sit there, I'm like, because we can do it better than the next guy is what his philosophy was. And I strongly agree. If you have some, an overzealous safety officer, not that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that if he's out there to try to ruin some, one of your clients, right?
Look for excuse to let him keep going, not to
or allow like plastic to, get stuck in your gun or something like that and not give you a reshoot, right? Stuff like that. You just gotta,
make sure you're doing the right thing.
Just always do the right thing. That's the being a really good SO or a CSO.
Now, anything to go from here outside of CSO? Is there any developments or anything that you're looking forward to after that? Or
safety
you just kind of go?
Oh no, I've been shooting for a safety officer instructor for a long time. There's you can go into being a assistant match director, moving on up to area coordinator, state coordinator, and stuff like that. Do I want to do any of that stuff? I'd rather have Fred do that because he does it so well, right?
Yeah, just keep supporting him so you don't have to.
Well, it's an awful lot of work, right? Yeah. And it's on your dime, right? So thank goodness for the podcast. I found a vehicle that might provide an option toward resolving a lot of those issues. Yeah. So if this allows me to travel and get to other matches, I can definitely support that group as well, not just the ones in Southern California. Yeah. Right. So so that's why this is actually working out quite well.
That's awesome. Now, circling kind of back to, I had a whole list of questions and, like we always do, just go from one and jump around. And going off this Q&A, what was your dream job? I had this whole list. And I know we're going to go back and forth and we're going to go off on tangents for a little bit, but, kind of getting to know Paul G. Like, what was your dream job growing up as a kid?
My dream? Well, it's always been in the medical field, right? Being a physician. So, but after doing that for 24 years, that wasn't my dream job.
It was a living?
No, it wasn't even a living. It was just brutal. It was just the long hours and not a lot of compensation for it. So working for nothing is not uncommon for me. So
you're just doing more of the same?
I'm just doing it in a different format. Yeah, absolutely.
So how did you get into firearms and kind of evolve into where we're at now?
Well, that's funny you ask. I sat there and, having an academic background, I said I should probably take some courses, right? So let's backtrack a little. My first gun was a GP 100. I said, hey, I want to buy a gun, and that was at the age of 18.
Okay.
Right. And back in my day, you turn 18, you can vote, you can smoke, right? And you can shoot a gun.
Oh,
right?
Or you can buy a gun. When America was America?
Believe it or not, right?
So there was a time?
So my 18th birthday, that was the first thing that I did. So I bought a pack of cigarettes. There was a vending machine, Marlboros, right? Because it was the prettiest box, right? I bought a box of Marlboros. I went to, I believe it was Turner's. I think it was Turner's or no, Ammo Brothers. And I purchased a GP100. Unfortunately, it was the 6-inch barrel. And I didn't know any better.
You're going for the whole Dirty Harry style.
I could have got the 4-inch barrel, and then it would have been an easier transition into IDPA, right? So, but that was my first gun. I went to the range. There was a local range down the street, and I was shooting faces in my little 8-inch circle, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the whole world. I'm like, wow, I can actually put. Faces
holes where I want to.
Right? And I'm like, hey, this is great. But that was when you just stand, you just wait, bang, right? Bang. And I thought that was, to me, that was shooting, right? So, but after a while, I got to I met a friend that said, have you ever shot a semi-auto? And I'm like, oh, that's just too easy, right? Because you have a mag and everything. And I'm like, wow, this is really nice. So he introduced me to that. And he goes, have you ever speed shot? I'm like, well, what's that?
Huh?
He goes, well, it's one of those things that you have a bunch of targets, around. You run around the thing. And I'm like, wait, you run around with a gun? He goes, yeah. I'm like, huh. So I looked at this stuff, and that was my first thing. And I mean, it was a little overwhelming. USPSA match was the first one I actually went to, and I said, "Wow, this is crazy." So, but I hung out with the guys there, and at the time, everybody was just so nice and so helpful, right? And nobody had any attitudes, and things have changed now. So things got a little crazy.
Things always evolve, and sometimes, for whatever reason, they right themselves.
So that's how I started getting there, and I went to the firearms training associates at Rahagi's, and they had this whole menu of classes, right? So I started with the basic classes, and that was in 215. And I said, oh, this is cool. So I took the basic class, and I go, And I took the immediate class and then the advanced class. And I'm like, oh, this is great. So I felt really good about my gun. I had an HK P2000 at the time. Okay. And I go, this is awesome. And so I go, I want to take another class. And so I moved it up to the basic class to the general class, which is a lot more shooting, right? And they just shoot an awful lot. And by the end of the weekend, it was a 16-hour course, right? And I put down a couple hundred rounds, and I felt really good about the gun. It's like a part of my hand now, right? So I had blisters and everything, and it's like carbon all over me, and I was like, wow, this is great. So I just took another class that got into shotguns, carbines, long range rifles, and then we did live houses, which was a kick in the pants.
Oh yeah.
I tried to do a live house with a 45, and that was really interesting. So
still have flashbacks.
Still have flashbacks, but that's how I got started in the classes, the training classes, right? So and then from there, like I said, that kind of just moved into shooting matches. And it just got worse from there.
Just downward spiral.
Right, permits to carry. I was like, oh man, I wanted to try out try to be a reserve officer and everything. And my wife's like, serious?
No.
You want to do that for free?
You doing everything else for free, what's one more thing, right?
She said, you don't think maybe doing something in the medical field would be more beneficial? I said to her, yeah, I guess so.
All right. So how long have you been shooting competitively?
Oh man, so 9 years, I think.
9 years.
Yeah, 8 years for IDPA, 9 years for USPSA, and the rest of the stuff.
Wow.
So I've done 3-gun, everything from 3-gun, PRS, the Precision Rifle Series. I've done that. I-Core for the revolvers.
stuff.
I tried out IPSC. I just shooting turtles just wasn't my thing. And I just IDPA. I just love IDPA.
What is it that you love so much?
Oh man, the people, right? So USPSA, and not to say anything bad about the USPSA, but
Everybody has their own flavor.
Oh,
but
man.
we're going for your aspect.
you get the elites, the top elite guys, and and they're focusing on what they need to be doing, right? And so when you have like a whole group of those guys, it's a real quiet day, right?
Yeah. Three words are said.
So I have ear pros, right? And I was thinking, it was funny. I was shooting with this other guy, and he sat there. He goes, "Are they always this quiet?" I'm like, "These guys are like the elite guys, right? So they have to be focusing, right?"
Yeah.
And I don't blame them and stuff like that. And they're really good at what they do. It's very impressive. But you sit there and you're by yourself, and you're like, "Huh." So you might well get the Bluetooth and stuff, and kick on the jams and just
Sitting there.
But then you can do that at home, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're there for the experience, not to...
You are. So the difference between that, and I'm not saying that all USPSA groups are like that.
Yeah.
It's just that one group that day was like that, and then I just kind of, it's kind of disappointing with that, And I actually went to a Cal IDPA shooters match, and it ended up that we, even afterwards, we had lunch, and the fellowship was just amazing. And we're still, and they're still good friends of mine. We call and see how you're doing and stuff like that. Speaking of which, I got to call Kurt and make sure he's doing good.
Yeah.
He had some surgery done, and hopefully you're doing well. Maybe you're just watching the podcast, right? So.
Well, I think he misses our voices, our banter, and everything else. And
I think so.
wish he could join in. Maybe we'll have to have a phone call on the podcast.
I think so.
Ooh, that would be kind of interesting. Eh?
But it was the fellowship that brought me to IDPA, and I just love the shooters. I mean, the best part was actually their personal life. If they allow you in your personal life, I think their personal life is more interesting than than us just shooting.
Yeah.
So,
Just
your personal
aspects.
life, I had no idea. I was like, wow, this guy knows everything about everything.
No. If you ask Megan, I don't know anything.
Okay, that's true. That's true. So, but I mean, that's how I got involved in IDPA, and that's why I chose IDPA, and
still choose it over
and still
everything else?
choose it. Yeah, but USPSA still has a
Special place.
well for training.
Yeah.
If you were you hit a wall and you're trying to get a little faster, right? And you're trying to do work on your footwork and stuff like that. USPSA I would have to say, is like the best thing for that. It's a great way to learn, bad habits. But if you just keep, stay disciplined, you can learn a lot from USPSA. Absolutely.
So you're saying that we're going to dive into that one for a little bit too as a challenge?
That's funny. You and I never shot a USPSA.
I've actually never personally shot anything outside of IDPA.
Shooting a bug at a USPSA match is probably not a good idea.
And it's a good idea in IDPA?
Okay, all right, good point. Good point. Especially, we would just have to add, I would have to add another.
Well, but then again, we could actually probably have more than 6 rounds.
Oh, you're going to need more than 6 rounds. But you have mags all the way around your waist, right? And I go, oh man, if it was an Armageddon, right?
Do you like the Rambo, just have a bandolier across your chest and just...
I've seen guys do that. But USPSA, you spend a lot of rounds and stuff like that, which I appreciate. But it's one of those things that IDPA is very structured, right? And USPSA is very freestyle.
Okay.
You do what you think makes sense.
So
right?
you think most people like the structure, and that's why they shoot IDPA? Or they do it for more of a challenge aspect?
Well, I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I can only tell you exactly what the reason why I'm doing it. That's funny. I've never asked that question. I think can I use that?
Absolutely. Feel free.
That's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know why.
For me, getting aspects from other people, like kind of seeing where their thought processes are. So that's why like something pops in my head. I'm kind of like, oh, what does G think?
Yeah. So sometimes I was taught not to. Right? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't.
Like for me, I don't know anything different because being invited to come shoot with you.
Yeah.
All we've ever done is IDPA. So like, I know that the USPSA is more like the freestyle hot rods. More of the race gun. Go fast, shoot fast.
Which is your strength.
Go.
It's definitely your strength. Well, you want to bust out the staccato, the STI, and try to go for it from there?
I mean, you can. It'd be interesting.
Do you ever shoot carry optics?
Once. At a night match.
Did you like that?
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't have quite the experience as you for carry optics since you've been shooting carry optics for so long, but I'd always down for a challenge and some tries, obviously.
I think carry optics would be a great platform for USPSA. There's a lot of targets. It's fast moving, and there's a lot of guys behind you, so you want to try to get out of their way, right? So,
gotcha.
So carry optics would probably be a very
good one.
Good fit. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we'll try that.
Yeah, let's try it. Might be some interesting content. So, in current rankings for IDPA, where are you in different divisions?
Oh man, IDPA is a little bit different. It's very strange. It's equitable in certain parts, and then it's very strange how they have that ranking platform. So, but I am a master carry optics.
Okay.
Experts in most of the other disciplines, only because I felt that it was the best way to be promoted to a different classification by winning it. And now it coming on 9 years now, I'm still at an expert, and it is what it is. You go classify, wherever you stand, that's where you are. I don't think that's the true measure of classification, but otherwise, if I would have done it the right way, I think I would have been a master in multiple levels. Mm-hmm. But I sat there and I go, I want to do it the old-fashioned way, and I don't think there's a way.
Going against someone rather than going against the clock.
Right. Most of the stuff when I started PCC, that was my specialty. I went out because of my 3-gun background. Mm-hmm. I started shooting because they had it at Worlds.
Okay.
And I went out there and they said it was ESP that I was shooting at the time. He said, ESP is full and we can't get you in. But if you want to shoot PCC, we can do that.
They're like,
and I went, So I went out and then I had to do research on PCC and figure this out.
And like, what is a PCC?
Right. I'm like, wait a minute, you want me to shoot a rifle at a pistol match? And he goes, that's all we have. And I'm like, fine. All right.
Take it or leave it.
So I wanted to go to Worlds. So I did. That was out in Alabama. And oh man, it was a kick in the pants. I sat there and the whole field was all trying to figure this thing out.
So everybody's in it together, kind of getting pointers, teaching each other, learning from each other.
It was the most amazing experience I've ever had to endure. Right?
Really?
Yeah, it was
so like
awesome.
Ultimate greatest match, like the whole environment, pulling together type
right?
deal?
I mean, at nationals, right? At a national level, right? You're trying to figure out how to shoot a PCC with the next guy, right? And the other guys were like SWAT guys. Right, they're like, oh yeah, I'm a captain of a SWAT team over in Tennessee or Kentucky or something, and so
and they look at you like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm Paul.
Yeah, hello. But they're sitting there and they're trying to shoot this huge rifle and going around tight corners and stuff like that, and then we're all figuring out, especially like left hand side, if I went on the right side, and I was just, and they're like, what the hell's going on here? And so that was my first thing, right? But the thing is that anytime I go to like a tier 3 or a tier 2 and stuff like, I was the only guy, right? So I'm expert I win. I won a couple division things because it was PCC, and a lot of people don't.
Still new.
They get a little pissed off that you're the fastest guy out there, but it's a rifle, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always think it's a different category. Like, there's a reason why you shoot bug. Is bug ever going to win an overall or anything like that? No. It's not a prayer. It's just a different checkbox that to play a game in.
Unfortunately, the division, right? Now the guy that's like the first guy overall, right, is just so happens to be a rifle, and people kind of like frown upon stuff like that. But that's why
different folks. and I think a lot of it has to do with just that rivalry of, all right, fine, you had to do this one. And I think it's like the poking fun and having fun and going out and having a great time. It's not like, you stupid mother.
Well, I mean, I got a lot of that, right? So I said, all right, fine, so that's when I started changing into carry optics from that. But it was I learned that carry optics, a pistol can actually be as fast as a PCC, if not faster, right?
Yeah.
You just got to work with it, and
you might have to work a little harder and pick up a little bit longer sight picture, but
right.
I mean, it's no matter what, you have to work at it.
Yeah, but I mean, you see the carry optic guys now; they're just cow. I've never seen that platform move that fast before.
I mean, if you think about it, like it's almost on the same playing field. I mean, pistol, will you have to work at it a little bit more? Yes.
Yeah.
But if you really work at it, I think you could absolutely dominate the PCC.
I actually argued for the PCC shooters, right? Mm-hmm. Saying that it's not as easy as you think, right? Going around corners, extra, weight and stuff like that. And everybody says no. I'm buying it.
I mean, I think if you take one of the top PCC shooters and carry optics guy that's at that elite level, I think you're right in that realm. It's
very close.
I think it would be more on the stage than the shooter.
I would have to agree.
Because I mean, if you have some tight corners and all that, your pistol guy's always going to dominate. You have longer shots on the stage, your PCC's guy's going to go. So I think throughout the entire match, you're pretty close to a level playing field. Yeah. I mean, obviously, skill sets are going to play the biggest factor.
Right.
But it's just overall,
it's just a different platform. Is all. Yeah. So, but
different way to play the game.
But that's definitely that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So, going back into, we already covered some upcoming matches. What other big matches do you plan on going to? Nationals, obviously Washington.
So this year my wife is retiring, so nationals are off the table.
Good for her.
Which is an awesome thing, but that takes me out of Talladega again. Okay. So I'll have to pick it up next year, and I think she'll be traveling a little bit more with me. So hopefully that'll work out better.
So I hear she's going to be shooting as well, right?
I don't know. She can take it or leave it type of thing. Okay. She's not really, I want to do this or that, but she's more into the other things like, it's a horse. Let me ride the horse type of stuff,
I want the pony.
But so she doesn't really shoot that much, so that's just my little thing. So.
Yeah. So definitely Washington.
Yeah. And so Joe gave me a personal invitation, so I'm going to go over there. I'm going to cover all Washington. Yeah. I want to make sure that match is duly noted and everybody knows about it, and we'll see how that works out. Hopefully it'll turn into a tier 4 for him. That would be awesome. But
Any other matches?
Sheepdog is in December, and then there's that huge gap, right? So I'll
try to find a couple of different things. Maybe get some invites.
Well, maybe get some invites, right? So
all I hear is some road trips coming up.
Well, they've been trying to get me out like the RMR, right, and the Colorado as well as the Texas stuff, but it just comes in a bad time for right.
It's amazing how things just happen to pop up when
you're like, what?
You're like, really? I've had this date planned for years, and now all of a sudden I get an invite and I can't go.
Well, I mean, things change, right? You're now a celebrity, and you're letting everybody know, right?
Only for a select few. So going back to giving back to the community, we do this mentor program. Can you kind of explain that and what that entails?
So that's my baby.
Your brainchild.
Yes. Leaf at the CA-IDPAshooters, we all have conversations all the time. And one of the things as a safety officer, you look at certain individuals that just scare the hell out of you. And not only me,
Yes.
but it scares the hell out of other safety officers, right? And then they, for some reason or other, they all looked at me like it was my fault.
Are you
right?
going to do something about this?
And I sat there and went, well, what would you like me to do? And at the time, I was just doing the shooters briefing, right? And I'm like, well, I tell them the rules and this and that. And so apparently...
So you're talking about the new shooters brief, which everybody
shooters
has to go through the first match?
Yes. So if you're a first-time shooter, that you go to a shooters brief and they discuss certain things that you should probably not do or
safety protocol,
things that you should do and who you should follow, who you should listen to type of thing. And I wanted to take that and move it into a different level. And that's where the mentorship came in. Mentoring program takes a shooter. I make sure I check them out. I give them a personal walkthrough. Make sure that they know exactly what they need to do on a stage, what certain things, pitfalls you want to avoid, how to solve those issues prior to them actually shooting the stage. Okay. So they're a little bit more confident. I want to take the anxiety off of them and make sure that they're having the opportunity to enjoy the day rather than
be stressed out.
Yeah, because there was a lot. Well, I remember my first time, right? I was freaking stressed out.
Oh, we'll go back to that one for a second. Let's finish up this mentor so we're not going off on great tangents.
Right. So, in addition to that, I videoed them, right? Okay. So, the best teacher is a video. So I want to show them exactly what they're doing, and while I'm telling them, hey, this is what you're doing. You want to be careful about this stuff because this will grow into something really bad or really good. And then I get a report to them and give them a list of recommendations what they should try to do on their own, right, at home, or try to get a coach or so forth. And it's just fast tracks. So it takes multiple years of experience and just putting it down into a couple visits, right? So they can come sign up with a mentor and shoot with a upperclassman all day, right? I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Absolutely. Now, how does someone sign up for this? Get into it? Ask about it?
Well, so when you sign up for the local match, well, especially with CA-IDPA, you can sign up. They have a part in the menu where did you want a mentor? And there's different tiers. How active of a mentor so you can get a extra pair of eyes to a guy that actually coaches you, right? So
is there an option to have someone shoot for you?
So I can add an extra one and like I'll actually just shoot for you, right?
So like, what do they call it, a celebrity shooter?
Right? One
like
time
a little pro-am or something, a mulligan?
Right? We'll get like Joe to come out and shoot bug for you. That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
That would be definitely amazing. But so that's what we do for the mentorship. It's a cool thing. It turned into something really. It's now extremely growing and it's quite effective of getting the new shooters out there. I have now new shooters that are all of a sudden they're SOs now. Right.
And that's awesome to see. I mean, the
those
progression
guys,
from where they were to where they are now.
Those are the guys that came up and they said, oh my gosh, right? You didn't know where they were going to point the gun to. Now they're full on, SOing now. So I'm very proud of those guys. So, but that's how we started the mentor program.
That's awesome. So now going back to, your first match. And you've seen these deer in headlight looks from some of these people that are taking the mentor classes and, how was your first match and what did you expect?
Chaos. That's how I would describe it. It was utter chaos. I mean, you sit there, you had like 50 million things, sensory overload, right? You're looking at, you have to figure out the stage. You got to figure out which way you're going to go, how to shoot it, where you're going to do like reloads, so what targets to shoot, how to shoot them. And then you got to make sure that you have bullets in your gun, right? And they're all loaded to a certain number and they're holstered, and then you have to put on your cover, and you got to know who the guys in front of you is and following them on top of you pasting things, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it was an awful lot. So, but that's how I developed the mentor program, where I just kind of, just let's take this in bits and pieces, right? And not overload yourself. So
do you think that's a big reason why people choose not to shoot a match? Is kind of see, this might not be for me, and that kind of hesitate?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't that deter you? That's not a good time.
It's not a good time, but I mean, for me, I me, I like the challenge. Like, you know what? We're doing this.
Right.
Let's make it happen.
Right.
Not to say I wasn't nervous. Of course, you're always going to be nervous,
right.
Because someone that is now playing a game with a firearm,
right.
Oh, yeah. That is something that, you have to have your head on straight and make sure that you're doing all the right things. Yeah. And my nerves were more of, all right, knowing that I have a firearm in my hand and I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I had trained, it's not competition training. So a whole different aspect, whole different realm.
Which where I came from, right? So I went to all my classes, basic level, advanced level, and now I'm shooting IDPA. It's funny, back in my day when we showed up, it's everybody looked at each other and said, who's going to SO?
Is it your turn?
And you get a lot of, well, I don't know how to SO, right? Type of thing. I'm like, oh my God, right? So, all right, give me the timer, right? So I'll take the timer, and somebody has to score us. Who wants to score? I don't know how to score.
Who has the best rating?
So when I first, it's funny, when I first started as an SO, Leaf would give me the pads and stuff like that. I'd go out there and I had to do everything.
Doing it all by yourself.
Oh my God. I didn't have an ASO to back me up. It was just me out there. And I ran everything by myself. I had the pad in one hand and the timer in the other hand, and I went to town, right? And
try not to trip over yourself chewing gum.
Oh, it's just good memories. Good memories.
So what kind of advice would you give to a new shooter that's like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of thinking about trying this.
Wow. I would have to say just violent action is the best way I would say. Don't think about it. Just do it, right?
Just do it.
Yeah, just grab what you have. Go out there, enjoy yourself, right? Of course, there's little pointers that you need, and everybody in the squad will help you out, right? You just make sure that your muzzle's downrange and go to town, right? So violent action, I would have to say. Go out there, enjoy yourself, and experience it. If you don't like it, you don't like it, right? But if you love it, don't blame me that you buy 5 or 10 guns later, right?
And countless amounts of equipment.
Oh my God. There's a huge long list of wives that just don't like me. and they're blaming me for what their husbands are doing, right? So
as they should, right?
Okay, all right.
Everybody needs someone to blame.
All right. That would definitely be me. So, but that would be my advice to them. Just go out there, figure a way of doing it and just do it. Enjoy it. See if you like it. If you like it, we can make that a bigger habit. Yeah. Definitely. I don't have any problems doing that too.
Absolutely. Now, what would you like to see in the shooting community? I mean, obviously you've talked about, the people, the camaraderie, the family. Like, how do we keep growing that?
Wow. Other than
I'm giving you some tough questions.
Yeah, this one's brutal. Yeah, it's a good one. I love the community. The shooting community is. I've tapped into a community that I've never seen before. They are. It's filled with amazing individuals from all types of experiences, work related things. Tony from New York. That's
Tony.
right. So and we picked up William Burnett from a retired police officer from Virginia. Right. So I love that guy. He's always looking at the videos and keeping me well informed of how he feels about the videos and so forth. He's became family, right? And that's what I love about IDPA. They just turn into family. Trying to make that family grow is it's a tough thing, because you get a lot of personalities out there, a lot of different philosophies, and we try to keep that at bay, right? And you got to remember that we're out there to shoot, have a good time, and make sure that everybody stays safe, right? So I think this is a great sport. I think it's an amazing opportunity to relieve a lot of stress, anxiety, among other things. Get out there, get some. Well, I wouldn't have to say it's fresh air, right?
It's air. I mean, outdoors. So many people always tucked away in, homebodies, which I love being at home too. But
right.
There's something nice about going out to the range and seeing your friends, family, and
absolutely,
your shooting buddies, and
right. Well, when
out.
you go to the Western, you actually visit friends and stuff like that, right? So I think stuff like that. I mean, we have a lot of friends in Florida, right? So when we go to Georgia and stuff like that, we hang out with the guys from Florida and
I mean, even when we shot the Nationals in Colorado, all the Florida guys came out.
Did you see how crazy that was?
No, Buffalo Wild Wings almost threw us out. I mean, that's a great time.
You have to be pretty talented to get kicked out of Buffalo.
I mean, it might not be quite as being kicked out of an Applebee's, but it's
right. Well, we did that at the first Western, I believe it was, that we went, and Robert Jones and stuff. I was doing martinis and he was doing some wacko things, and it was the first time they ever asked us to get out of a steakhouse, right? And so that's when I knew that this is exactly what I want to be doing. Right?
I've been kicked out of worse places.
That takes on a whole different thing. I didn't even know it. But,
life experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
But always great time shooting.
Yes, I would have to say.
So, I mean, kind of wrapping up with some of the stuff that we've talked about, is there any special thank yous or people that have been a huge influence throughout these years of shooting that you'd like to give a little note, shout out, thank you.
Wow.
Something.
Most of our subscribers are definitely, but my team, my team is everything to me. They've supported me. You supported me. Robert supported me. Kurt, Megan is the new member, and Cynthia, right? So, and it just keeps on growing. I just love going out there. I can't wait to see Daniel and Randy, and it's an amazing time when you go out there and start shooting with people. Different personalities and so forth, but it's one of those things that it's a breath of fresh air. So I would definitely give a shout out to my team, the Speakings, and I love you guys, and I definitely want to shoot with you guys more. It's an unbelievable feeling when you go to a match and you show up and your whole team is that squad.
It is. You all see the same jersey out there?
It's a good thing and a bad thing. You sit there, you're like, oh my God, it's the whole team. And then you say, oh my God, it's the whole team. Because you sit there and it's just, we're so competitive against each other, right? And and they have no reserves in throwing out, Ps or, penalties or DQs, right?
Yeah.
Kurt. Oh my God. I think he holds the record on disqualifying his own teammates.
Oh, I mean, if there is a record to be held, it definitely has his name etched in stone.
This is true. I sit there and I show up every time. Walk in there. I make that corner around the barrier, right? And I look and you see all the jerseys out there, and I go, man, I was wondering if I can get on 3 or something, or squad 2. That's the first thing that I did. But thanks to you guys and the team, I am a wealthy man. Not by finance, definitely,
Yeah.
but definitely by love, right?
by character and love, right?
So,
Well, honestly, for me, this is an honor and a blessing, to be able to, actually interview someone that I've looked up to over the years for
I
so
appreciate
long.
that.
And, someone that is just at the pinnacle of this shooting community that everybody looks up to. And
I
can't thank you enough for allowing me to do this interview.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, at some point in time, we could talk for hours, but we gotta wind these videos down.
Yeah,
I'm sure this
apologize
one's
to
going
the
to be
subscribers. I know we were rambling quite a bit. But you did an amazing job.
I appreciate it. I try. I learned from you, just like in the shooting world. Kind of seeing some of the stuff that you do, and I like looking up to you always, and kind of
I appreciate that.
seeing how you do things and learn a lot from you. I appreciate it.
We'll just take the torch and keep on going with that, right?
I absolutely will. So thank you so much for tuning in to Can We Chat. Please consider a part of our shooting community, building relationships around gun safety practices and IDPA competition. My name is Anthony Vega, and this is
Paul G.
Please be safe, and we'll see you on the range.
Thank you.
Like, share, subscribe.
So how do you think that went?
I think it went really well.
I think that was the longest talk I've ever had to talk.